Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, how you doing today, my brother?
Doing good, one. We're wrapping up this thing pretty soon, and it's been a great tier list ranking, and I'm having fun. Quarterbacks, big discussion. A lot of hate is going to come our way, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I feel like quarterbacks are going to be the hardest, in all honesty. As far hardest in a way that,
I don't know. Running backs was pretty bad. So was
yeah, but at
receiver.
least running backs were hard because all those guys were good. I think that's like the thing. Like they were all
I mean,
really
all these
good.
guys are good.
Yeah, but in a way though, some of these guys just played in a different time to where
Oh, yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. That it's hard to like rank them efficiently, should I say.
Yeah. This is going to be probably the one least using stats because, for example, guys from the 80s and 90s are not going to be airing out the ball like they are now. Like the jet touch pass didn't exist. All these little cheap ways to generate yards didn't exist. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. I know it's going to be a long one. We're going to have good discussions. So anything else?
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video, comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have. You guys have been loving this series, man. We've been getting some good numbers on these videos, so we appreciate all that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the quarterback tier list. All right. So we got an old head goats tier. Me and Max decided we're gonna put Fran Tarkenton in it. We're going to put Dan Fouts in it. We're going to put Terry Bradshaw in it. Rodgers Staubach. And we're gonna go Phil Simms. No, we're gonna go Johnny Unitas.
Yeah.
Who else? All right. And then we'll also go Phil Simms.
Sorry, all
Okay.
Fran Tarkenton fans out there. My bad.
So I would say this. Fran was an amazing running white quarterback. He was Houdini back there. Okay. Before his time, he was amazing. But he played in the freaking 60s and 70s. All right. The game has massively changed. Same thing with Roger Staubach and same thing with Terry Bradshaw.
And Johnny Unitas, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would say out of all these, if I had to rank number one guy, I would personally probably put Johnny Unitas and Dan Fouts at the top. Those are like the two. Is there anything specifically you want to say about these guys? Because we're kind of teeter tottering with Phil Simms. I kind of made that decision to put Phil Simms in there, but I know Max wanted to elaborate on Phil a little bit.
Well, I will say this. First of all, there's a lot more quarterbacks we could have thrown in, right? We
Yeah,
just don't have time to put Joe Broadway, Joe Namath, all the other guys, Bernie Kosar, all these guys, right? We just
yeah,
don't have time.
yeah,
I would say this about Phil Simms. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL's history. He played quarterback at a time where it was pretty much you're going to chuck the ball. We're not going for dinks and dunks. We are going to air the B out. So the guys like Phil Simms, you really got to take their stats with a grain of salt. Like even Terry Bradshaw, he got 212 touchdowns and 212 interceptions. People are like, yeah, that's not a Hall of Famer. But no, the way the position was played back then, it wasn't, check it to the running back and let him go get yak and all this other stuff. It was, we got to be aggressive. Phil Simms talked about Bill Parcells saying to him, hey, if you don't throw an interception, you're not being aggressive enough. And like, no coach would say that. A coach would say, we never want to throw an interception. Back in those days, though, you had to. Like, you had to be aggressive. Like, we're not talking about 10-yard in cuts. We're talking about 20-yard in cut, 30-yard out route, go ball. That's all they were throwing back in those days.
yeah.
It was just a different time to be a quarterback.
And
And
we
there
could have,
wasn't the offenses. The offenses weren't like now, right? It
yeah,
wasn't,
100%.
jet
It's
motion. Oh, we got a bunch.
I
No.
would say the guy who kind of, you know, did that stuff, I would say was Dan Fouts. They were very pass heavy. They were running some stuff that was a little bit more ahead of their time. They were kind of the poor man's 49ers in a way.
Yeah.
But I would say this: there's numerous quarterbacks we could have added, like Max said, like Joe Namath. I want to give a big shout out to two of them. Kenny Stabler, the Snake.
Yeah, 100%.
Jim Plunkett. I'm a Raider guy, so I'm going to shout out those two guys. But Phil Simms, I think when you remember those Giant teams, I think we remember a lot more other guys other than Phil Simms.
Yeah.
Phil Simms was
LT, the defense, Parcells, Belichick, but he was a vital part.
Yeah.
He was a huge part
So
of
what do you have to say about Terry Bradshaw? Terry Bradshaw gets mentioned a lot in these all-time quarterback lists. What do you got to say about Terry?
I would say, look, if we were going to rank him, he wouldn't be in the A or the S. But for the era he played, he was one of the best quarterbacks, right? The blonde bomber. He would air it out. He was tough as nails. Like the fact, like I feel like playing quarterback in the 70s, especially in the 60s, was more about like just surviving. Because I mean, I don't think you could take a single quarterback today and put them in the 70s and be like, yo, survive. Like these guys were beyond tough. And that's what I would say. Terry Bradshaw was tough. Like I said, the stats aren't going to wow you, but he was a part of 4 championship teams, tough, played big games. He was a great player. Great player.
Yeah, very great player. So we got a good list going on here, Max. We got a lot of guys. Some guys have more accolades than others. Let's go ahead and get it over with. Okay, let's talk about the two guys that are at top of the list. I think this is a very easy decision, very easy discussion on where we're at right now. Let's go Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. I think those two are at the top of the list, even though Mahomes hasn't finished his career off. I think everyone wants to hear it.
That is not the name I thought you were going to say.
Really?
To be honest, I thought you were going to say Peyton Manning. I thought you were going to tie Brady to Manning.
I think we should go Brady and Mahomes. We'll throw in Manning right after, but let's go Tom Brady. Okay. Tom Brady, look, he had so many accolades. Max wasn't even able to fit everything on there. Yeah. That's how much
we left off some Pro Bowls because those don't really count that much. But seven Super Bowls, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time league MVP. This was the crazy thing. 3 first-team All-Pros. 3. You won an MVP 3 times, and those were his 3 first-team All-Pros. 3 second-team All-Pros. So out of like the 24 years he played, he only got 6 All-Pros. And one was shocked when I told him. I was like, can you believe that? Like, that makes no sense. But this is the era where they're like, you get 2 quarterbacks. So if like Drew Brees has a good season, we're going to give it to him over you. But it doesn't take away from his legacy in the slightest. I think it just shows how flawed the All-Pro system can be at times.
Yeah. I think the big thing with him is he has it all. Most QB wins, most passing yards, most passing touchdowns. He played
most
for
playoff wins.
Yeah, most playoff wins. It's not even close for the playoff wins. It's going to be hard to catch up to him. The only guy, it's really Mahomes. But I think the big thing also as well is him getting all those accolades is obviously the longevity. 22 years in the NFL is phenomenal. Played forever. It seemed like he played in like 3 different eras, you can argue. So he did it all. Look, Tom Brady, when it comes down to the accolades and when you're doing a list like this, I'm not going to fight back. I'm not. I'm not the biggest Brady fan. I'm not. I'm not the biggest Brady guy, but I'm going to hold my bias aside. He is the greatest quarterback of all time. When you're constructing a list like this, he is S tier. And if it wasn't for Mahomes, I can arguably say that he could be in his own tier. But I do think there is something that we have to factor in. And this is where me and Max push back on whenever somebody says that. It's the talent thing. It's like, okay, like who would you trust more to throw a 15-yard in route with precise accuracy? Like, I think I would take a lot of some of these other guys like Rodgers, Peyton Manning. It's like when it comes to the talent and skill set, I feel like other guys have them. But when you start throwing in those accolades, it's just not close. No one is even close to him.
Well, that's where we talk about this list isn't all accolades, because if it was, he's in his own tier, I'd agree. He is the greatest quarterback of all time as of right now for me. If Mahomes continues the trajectory he's on, it's going to be hard to argue with him. But I will say this for Tom Brady, and I know we all forgot about this. because he won the one Super Bowl in Tampa. I guess Bill Belichick's just the scrub. He was never a good coach because he won that one without him, and it was all Brady all along. The first 3 Super Bowls, he was a game manager. Okay, guys? Let's be real. It was defense, run the ball, timely throws by Tom Brady. He was clutch, absolutely. No disrespect, no argument. He was a clutch quarterback. But the last 3, or excuse me, the last 4, the last 3 in New England, he was a baller. The 28-3. I don't think there's a quarterback that could like make you have that faith in him other than Mahomes, and not even Mahomes, because that Super Bowl was like his creme de la creme. Like, oh my God, like this guy's special. Like he's got a great arm. I would say this: guys like Peyton Manning, granted he had a bad neck injury, didn't age gracefully. Drew Brees didn't age gracefully. Tom Brady could probably go still sling it. I bet he could still go get you like 3,000 passing yards. Now with the body hold up, I don't know that, but he still got the physical talent. And this will be my last thing. I'm gonna push back on this one narrative. He didn't take an 0-16 Tampa Bay team to the Super Bowl. They were good before he got there. They had a horrible quarterback. But this is where the Brady impact comes in, where he's got this thing no one else has, where it's like the ultimate belief that you can do it now because you got Tom Brady. And he's a good teammate. He's not a jerk like Aaron Rodgers. But he's an S tier. He is the number 1 guy in S tier for my money.
Yeah, and I would just say this.
I know I hate him because I just said all that stuff. That wasn't like just glazing.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But look, I would say this. We say this a lot with basketball guys. I feel like it's a big thing. It's a big argument when I use for the whole like GOAT conversation with basketball. It's like how did you make guys better? And I think with Tom Brady, he definitely made guys better. Like just think about the count. And I know like the system has part of it. Bill Belichick, I get it. But at the end of the day, like even coaches will say it. Coaches coach, players play. The great coaches out there, they give all the praise to the players. The players are doing the work on the field. And when it came down to the Patriots, I mean, Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Jabbar Gaffney. Think of all the receivers that this motherfucker made good, Max. I don't think that's a coincidence.
I agree. But we can't act like Belichick and what they were doing up there was just nothing. That's like I feel like when he won that one in Tampa and Belichick struggled, it was just like, see, Belichick was never good. It's like, come on, yo. Like, right?
Yeah.
Let's not be crazy.
It's a big percentage, but I don't think it's as big as some people egg on to be. I would still give the majority of the credit to Brady. I would just say that. And when I say majority, it's like 60-40.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I would say like the first part of his career was a lot of Belichick. The last part was a lot of Brady.
Yeah.
100%. I'm a hater. I'm ready.
Okay, let's put Brady into the S tier. Where the hell is Tom Brady here? Okay, so where did you want to go after that?
Well, you said Mahomes, so let's go Mahomes. You said Mahomes. Mahomie.
Let's go Patrick Mahomes.
I'm surprised you're not hating on somebody who's caused you so much pain.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I was scared of Mahomes from the jump, bro. I kind of seen it coming. 3-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, guys. We know he's playing. He's first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer today.
Yes.
29 years old, 30 years old.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Look, if anyone had a chance to sniff Tom Brady's playoff records, win records, passing touchdowns, passing yards, it is Patrick Mahomes. He already has over 32,000 passing yards, 245 passing touchdowns. He currently has the NFL's most passing yards per game record with 288.9 per game.
What's crazy is like the last couple of years, like they can't even throw the rock like
I
that.
know.
That's what's crazy.
NFL record for most yards by a quarterback in a season. He also holds that with 5,614 yards. Look, he is still playing, so part of it is projecting, okay? I'm going to say this. When it's all said and done, I think this is going to be a Jordan LeBron thing because you can argue that Patrick Mahomes is far more superior talent-wise than Tom Brady. Can we agree on that?
I don't think it's an argument. I think it's fact. Like he's a different tier of athlete, got a bigger arm. What is there to
Right.
what else is there in terms of just talent?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
And so
He's not dumb. He's not like he's throwing picks left and right. No, he's pretty good. 245 to 74 is pretty good. It's like 3-1.
and I would say this, me and Max, more Max, I'm going to give credit to Max on this because he opened up my eyes within like a good 3-year stretch of just having argument after argument with him. But it's so hard when it comes down to quarterbacks and football in general because everyone wants to give the credit to the quarterback. Everyone's like, and even to the point where they do it with like, I hate it when they do it with positional, like playmaker positions. Like there was a guy that was talking about the Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu argument. They're like, Troy got 2 Super Bowls. I'm like, yeah, because Troy played everywhere on offense and defense, right? And with quarterback, we do that a lot. That's the position where it starts
So
with.
let me ask you this: if this last Super Bowl, Eagles versus Chiefs, if you put Brady back there, is it different?
I don't think
Is it
so.
different?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't
They
think
get
so
their ass
either.
kicked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, people will just be like, "Well, Tom Brady never got his butt beat in a Super Bowl that bad." It's like, well, I don't remember that time Tom Brady's line couldn't block for him
Right.
in 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the LeBron thing is they suffer from how great he is, where it's like he made that old line look decent for way too long when it's just a mess because they're the Chiefs and they win and Mahomes is running like a freaking chicken with his head cut off and no one can tackle him and it's like he's a bandage, bro. He makes that team so much better than we give it credit for, and we want to criticize him because talk about misfit receivers the last couple of years, dude. It ain't the Tyreek Hill like show anymore with Kelsey, Watkins, him. It's really just Travis Kelsey the last couple of years and a ragtag group of receivers.
Yeah. And I feel like the Chiefs are kind of moving into their early years of Tom Brady's method of winning with the Patriots, where it's like, hey, we're going to play hard-nosed defense and we're going to run the football. Like that's how we're going to.
But
And
when we
need you.
need it, but when we need 15
Yes.
to make magic, like against the Niners, we
need
got
you.
it.
Yeah, we need you.
Yeah.
And Mahomes understands that, and he doesn't have pride to fight back on that. And so,
Correct.
look, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen every single snap that Patrick Mahomes has ever taken for the Kansas City Chiefs. I can say that confidently. He is going to go down as the greatest quarterback ever. If he stays healthy, I believe that. I think he's going to be better than Brady. I think it's going to be one of those things where he is. He is.
I guess Jalen Hurts doesn't exist. Well, I guess Jalen.
but
no,
do you agree?
Oh yeah, no, he's already. To me, bro, if I'm picking my team, give me him over Brady. I know I'm stupid. I know. But no, he's going to be the greatest. I mean, I think he's the talent. He's the most talented quarterback ever. He's got the resume. This is what I don't get. We're just going to be like, there's going to be the guys who are like, well, I'd rather have 7 over 3.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Right.
Because, winning 3 is that easy.
And I would say
like
this.
Quarterbacks.
I would say this.
More than 3.
Because this is where the conversation is going to get interesting on who's going to be put in this S tier. Is only going to be Brady and Mahomes. We're talking so highly about them.
Oh, no.
But look, we do want to say this. There's context. Me and Max love context, bro. I think there's a lot of similarities with Brady and Mahomes as far as both had 2 great head coaches, top 5 head coaches of all time, Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. They're all great in their own way, but I think that's something to consider.
What I will say, one thing is interesting. If you think about the first 3 of Brady's, would you agree that it was a lot of defense and game manager?
100%. Yes.
When you think about Mahomes' first 3, the first 2 are like, just we rely on Mahomes. The last one was really defense and just timely Mahomes, I would say, against the 49ers.
Yeah.
So it's just, I would just think that's an interesting little parallel.
Yeah.
And
people are going to bring up the AFC Championship where
Dee Ford lost in the game.
Dee Ford lost in the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's on Mahomes. Yeah. Sick.
Yeah. And I would say this, Mahomes is catching up to him as far as iconic moments. A lot of people like to bring that up too, as far as like comebacks, like the Atlanta comeback. That was insane. Like, I would say that was
I
a
don't
lot of Brady,
I
bro.
don't think that one's gonna get topped, unfortunately.
That one was a lot of Brady. But let's put Mahomes in S tier. Now let's start talking about who's gonna compete in that S
Go
tier, Max.
go to Peyton, bro. If you say he's not an S tier, I'm just gonna end the video right now. If Peyton Manning's not an S tier, I quit the podcast.
Okay, let's go to Peyton Manning. Let's go to my boy. You know, I'm trying to be unbiased, man. Two-time Super Bowl champion, one-time Super Bowl MVP. He's a four-time MVP winner. No, five-time,
Five,
excuse me.
five.
Five-time.
Don't come
I know.
on.
Two-time Offensive Player of the Year, one-time Comeback Player of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year.
7 first-team All-Pros to Brady's 3. Go 3 second teams.
Yeah,
Like, that's
if
what
we're doing all
Juan was like,
pros,
"Where's all the All-Pros?" I'm like, "Peyton got them all, bro. This is like the ultimate, like, regular season bullcrap. They're gonna just say, bro,
yeah,
BS,
yeah.
BS."
NFL record for most passing touchdowns in a season with 55. Still holds that one. But passing
And passing
yards,
yards.
yeah,
Yeah.
passing yards, passing touchdowns, and 251 interceptions. I can't wait to see Brett Favre's, by the way. Um, look, you know how I feel about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback that we have ever seen.
I hate that so much, man.
It is.
I hate
It's
people say that.
true.
It's true. I hate it because it just they act like this dude didn't win 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And it like let's be real, one. The Super Bowl was the AFC Championship game a few of those years.
I would say
It
this
really
though,
was.
Max. The second Super Bowl, can we give him all much that credit? It was the
Hey,
defense. It was no fly
it was
zone.
absolutely the defense, but you got to get him in the right play. He didn't lose them the game.
You didn't lose him.
But let's be real. To come back from what he came back from, like when he got to Denver, the arm strength was gone. Like the elite arm strength.
Yeah.
Like he still had a decent arm, and then like it degraded over time. I will say this for Peyton Manning. His greatness covered up a lot of the problems with the Colts, where the Colts were 14-2, and then when it's the playoffs in those days, it was like, yo, where's the defense? I mean, we see it even today, even in the offensive boom it is. When you get to the playoffs, the rules change, the defenses get much more important. And for how many years, one? And this is the context we're talking about, guys. I'm not just trying to just boost Peyton Manning. Go back and look. The defenses he were on that he had helping him were bad. They were bad a majority of his career, minus the year they went to the Super Bowl and won against the Bears. And like we talked about in the video, Bob Sanders was finally healthy, and he was like a different player for their defense. Like he transformed it almost. And it's just tough, man. Like I don't want to make excuses, but that's just the truth of the matter. Now, did he always play his best in playoff games? Absolutely not. He definitely had some struggles. But you go against one of the greatest defensive minds of all time, and it can be tough. It can be tough.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, bro. He went against the Patriots, bro. That's what sucks.
How different do you look at him if he wins the Saints Super Bowl?
Yeah, you look at him a lot different.
I'm just asking, like, or I only say that one because they didn't no chance to win the Seattle one. Like they got waxed.
Yeah, they got waxed. And the Saints one, it was arguably his fault. It was his fault. I would just say that. He threw the pick six to Tracy Porter. That was on him. And so when it comes down to those moments, especially like a lot of those playoff games in New England, like him shrinking to the moment, and it's just like the offense just not showing up. It's hard. It's hard to argue. But I would say this. This is why the list is not, if it's based off Super Bowls, yeah, we should put Terry Bradshaw in S tier then. Like if we're going to be doing that. So if your number one argument is Super Bowls, with all due respect, shut the hell up. I'm tired of hearing it. Honestly, like if you're going to base everything off Super Bowls, go take that shit to the GOAT conversation with LeBron and Jordan. Because I don't want to hear it. I can care less.
Russell. Yeah, no,
I can honestly care less. We're going to put Peyton Manning in the S tier. I agree. He is not above Tom Brady in the order, but he deserves to be in that S tier.
I would say this right now, as of today, he is above Mahomes in my money. Will he be at the end of the day? I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
But for what he did, he was another OC out there. Like he was legitimately like, hey, we'll get you in the right play. I know everything. I can make it work with guys like, first of all, Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne were super talented, not the guys like that. But
Yeah.
the Austin Collies, the Dallas Clarks, the Garcons, the Donald Brown, he made all these guys look way better than they were.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's kick it back to, I'm going to go to 3 guys. Or you know what, we'll
Are
go
these
4.
S tier type
4
of
guys.
guys?
These are all 4 of these guys that I'm going to bring up. They're all going to be potentially S tier guys.
Please say Eli so I can drive to your house and
Let's
just
go
smack
Joe
you.
Montana. Let's go Joe. 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, 80s All-Decade Team, 75th and 100th year anniversary teams, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Only a 5-time All-Pro guy. 3 of them first team, 2 of them second team. Has a bunch of Pro Bowls. Not as much as some of these other guys, though.
Who are the other guys you're thinking about right now? I'm just curious before we start, though.
I'm thinking of Rodgers, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, and John Elway.
Damn. Before we get into it, how tough are you going to be in S?
That's why I'm curious to have this conversation.
I'm thinking one more name, to be honest.
Is it Joe Montana? So let's have it. Is it Joe?
I don't think it's Montana, personally. I don't think it's Joe Montana.
Tell me why.
I would say this. NFL legend. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer. One of the best quarterbacks of the time. I think he benefited from, like I talk about, being a part of the system that was way ahead of its time. Hey, was he money? Absolutely. Did he make magic? Absolutely. Was he clutch? Absolutely. For my money, I would say Aaron Rodgers is better than Joe Montana. I get there's 4 Super Bowls and all that jazz, but he had one of the greatest head coaches, had the best receiver. I would put Joe Montana at the top of A. I'd lump him and Elway at the top of A. I would pick Rodgers for the last guy in S tier. And that's just because we talk about the most gifted throwers of the football. And that's what this list, that's what's more important to me right now than just accolades. Because, I could crap on Montana's stats with Rodgers, but let's be real. They still weren't throwing as much as they threw the ball. It wasn't like today. It wasn't like it is today.
I would say this, though. I would say this about Joe Montana. Look, obviously, we didn't watch him in real time. I've watched numerous clips of the 49ers, numerous, Super Bowls and big playoff games. I've gone back and watched Joe Montana. The West Coast offense was very innovative at that time. It's funny because you look back at it right now and you see concepts and it's like
still running them.
Still running
doing
them.
It.
Yeah, still doing it. But I would say this. The 49ers, number one, Joe Montana benefited from the salary cap. I would say this. There was no salary cap when the 49ers were dominating. That was a big part of it. They had Ronnie Lott. They were able to have guys like Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, guys bring in Dion with no implications of salary cap.
I think that was the move that kind of brought about it.
It was the 49ers. They were dominating. They were so dominant, bro.
They were basically cheaters, guys. Basically cheat. No, I'm kidding.
And I would say this. Joe Montana, when it comes down to clutchness, I think he's the second clutchest quarterback ever to Tom Brady.
Yeah, after Brady. Yeah. I would agree.
And he in a way, he's kind of like a poor man's Michael Jordan argument. Because the big thing is 4-0. Went there, never lost. Never lost a Super Bowl. And it was the same thing with Jordan. It's 6 finals, 6 wins, no losses. So in a way, a lot of people, that's their number one argument with Montana. With me, it's hard for me to put him in that A tier. I'm going to be completely honest. And I'm kind of
going. I think it's hard too. He's overqualified for A, but I wouldn't think he's S. He's right in between.
To me, I think John Elway and Dan Marino are better talent-wise than Joe Montana. That's just me. I'm a Marino guy.
I would agree.
And I'm a little bit more of a John Elway guy. I kind of want to put Dan Marino into that S tier, if I'm being honest. But when it comes to Joe, he's the standard now. So I think if we put him in A is going to be stacked up with a bunch of guys. It's going to be like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, John Elway. We'll even probably have to put like Josh Allen, Drew Brees. Like, where do we put Brees? Like, that's sounding like the A tier right now. And are we confident to say that, like, I don't know if we can compare John Elway and Joe Montana to Brett Favre? I mean,
No. I honestly think Montana makes the best sense in A because he sets the bar really freaking high. And that way we can be really tough. So I'm okay putting Montana in A.
okay.
But like I said, personally, I feel like he's a little bit overqualified for A, but a little underqualified for S. I know he's got the rings. I got it.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the player. I'm talking about the player. Let's take all the context into it.
And I,
So
I would
let's
say
put him in
this: how cool and collective Joe Montana was. I always remember this NFL film story. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's on the drive, the famous drive. It's labeled that, and it's the first play of the drive, and everyone is so tense in the huddle. And Joe Montana cools down everyone and says, "Hey, is that John Candy in the stands?" Like,
Oh, yeah.
you remember that story? Like,
Yeah.
that's how cool and collective Joe
But I mean, that
Montana
stuff
was.
matters. That stuff matters.
Like, yeah, like that's the extra intangibles that like some of these guys have. Like, those are the differences where it was just like biggest moment of his life, and it's like that's John Candy. Like, it kind of just brings a sense of calm downness, like in the huddle. I can only imagine. Like, we got the right guy. Okay, let's hit Aaron Rodgers then. I was gonna go more of the older guys, but let's go Aaron. Okay, because it's sounding like you want to put him in that S tier. So let's look at
I'm debating it now. I'm debating it because of what we did with Montana.
Yeah. Hold on. I am all over the place.
I think the one thing with Aaron Rodgers is you're going to look at the accolades and you're going to be like, one Super Bowl champ, one Super Bowl MVP. What's even crazier one is just one appearance. Never got back.
Yeah.
4-time MVP, 4-time first team All-Pro, 1-time second team All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler, career records, best passer rating, best TD to interception ratio, 4.3 to 1. Best single season passer rating, 122.5. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot guy. 63,000 passing yards, 503 touchdowns, 115 picks, 102.6 rating. I would say this for Aaron Rodgers. Throw out the last couple years with the Jets. He was aggressive, but he was never throw the ball into danger. Like, that's what I remember most about Aaron Rodgers. The pinpoint accuracy, the making magic with the bad green, like, you know, those Green Bay teams that were like 9-7, but if he didn't play, they'd be like 3-15, 3-14. That's what Aaron Rodgers was, guys. He tasted success really early on, like when he became a starter, when they won the Super Bowl. But it's a little bit of a weird career, right? Because he gets drafted. We all remember draft day that the 49ers messed up. Should have picked Aaron Rodgers.
And the Raiders.
Took Alex Smith instead. He sits around, backs up Brett Favre for, I think, 3 or 4 years, because Brett Favre's like doing his retirement thing. And then he takes over, and Packer fans were mad, dude. Packer fans were like, Brett Favre? We're going to get rid of Brett Favre? This is our guy? And then Aaron Rodgers silenced all that quick, but then it was just a lot of middling years. They get good at the end of his career with LaFleur, but they can never get over the hump. They lose twice in the NFC Championship game. Once to the 49ers, where they get thrashed, and they lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I want to say Atlanta too. They lose the Atlanta one as well.
Oh, that was that was like 10 years. They got thrashed in that one too with McCarthy.
Yeah. Look, I would say this. Me and Max have had this debate and argument before about Aaron Rodgers, and I mean it's hard. You know, you want to give him. You want to have that mindset of like, hey, it is a team game. He brought some teams that I don't think shouldn't have been there, in a way. Like kind of like in a way like with Peyton Manning, with like those bad defenses where it's like, yeah, they got farther than they were supposed to because he carried them on their back. And so when it came down to an opponent, kind of like Mahomes, think of it like Mahomes last year. It's like, he brought a Kansas City Chiefs team that probably never should have been in the Super Bowl, and they got thrashed. Once they went against the best team that was supposed to be there, that was like, hey, this ain't no flaws. We got a good defense. We got a good quarterback. run game, offensive line, everything. Everything is coming together. We're going to kick your ass. That's what kind of happened to Aaron Rodgers every time he went into the NFC Championship and he played bad. So just imagine Patrick Mahomes' performance. Aaron Rodgers had that like 5 NFC championships, I would say.
And I wouldn't even necessarily say he played all that bad in some of those
Some of them
games.
he did. Some of them he did.
Yeah. Well, which one would you say he played the worst in?
I would say the 49er one.
I think so. But again, that game is such an ass kicking. It's like hard to say like, oh, they lost because like it wasn't because they lost because of him.
Well, a lot of people
lost.
That's why I'm comparing it to Mahomes, because did Mahomes?
I agree, but I'd never seen a game where a team could throw the ball 5 times in the modern NFL and win the game.
Yeah, that's
like you're talking about can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah,
but I agree. Like it's the LeBron thing where it's you drag a team that shouldn't be there. You shouldn't get penalized for it. But I will say this about Aaron Rodgers. The last couple years have soured a lot of people on the Aaron Rodgers experience with the way he's acted. I mean, it's true, right? You got the last year in Green Bay where he was just unpleasant to be around. You got the first year with the Jets, you can't control that. You tear your Achilles.
I'm telling you this right now.
But the off the field stuff has been bad the last 3 years. Would you agree?
Yeah, you have to take that out. Right now we're having the conversation with maybe he can resurrect it with the Steelers. I highly doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, not because of his talent, because of his relationship with the media and relationship with the NFL. Like he's burned some bridges. Yeah, he has burned some bridges, most definitely. And people look like I look at him as an asshole. I do. Like I don't like how he operates, Aaron Rodgers. I don't. I hate it. But when it comes down to ranking him, I have a hard time putting him in that S tier. I just think, like in a way, maybe we're being too biased for Manning, and maybe we have to put him in there because we're putting Manning in there as well. So that's like part of it. But
I mean, the talent thing is so off the charts with him. Like he's more. Watch this. Watch the hate this is gonna get. He's more talented than Tom Brady. He's more talented than Peyton Manning. And you know what's crazy? I would say he got all of it out of his talent. It wasn't like you're like, damn, Aaron Rodgers like really left a lot of like he was really so much better. He could have been so much better. No, dude, he had an amazing career.
Yeah,
like has had an amazing career. He's still playing, but I mean, from the talent, I want to put him in the S. But part of me is also like the way you've conducted yourself in a couple of the games, you should be brought to A. I mean, I think he's a better quarterback than Joe Montana. I do think he's better. I do. It's just hard to argue with the team's success. Like that's part of it, right?
Yeah, I mean it is. You have to factor that in. We're factoring that in everything with this tier list. So, it's not based off one thing.
Elway, Montana, Rodgers. Who's the best quarterback of those 3?
You forgot one. I think.
Oh, Marino.
Marino. I would personally put Marino. I think Marino is, if not the same talent as all those guys, better. That's how I feel. I think he's the ultimate like guy that just never won, and everyone just forgets about him. But he was great.
Honestly,
he was amazing.
I think if you put Marino in there, you put Rodgers. I think those 2 guys are clearly above Elway and Joe Montana.
Like, is Dan Marino kind of like the Charles Barkley of football?
So yeah, I think people forget how good he was because I mean he just rewrote every record book when he played.
Yeah,
and that's why I've always been a huge Dan Marino guy. Best release, super accurate. I think with football we got to realize, man, and it's not like the NBA because we intertwine the two so much. The team aspect is so much greater in football, even if you're a quarterback. Like you have the second greatest quarterback by me and your standards against Philly, and you get your ass beat. Like that's like the equivalent of saying I got a similar team with LeBron and we get our ass swept for 4 straight games. Like that's like it never happens unless you're playing like the dream team or something like that, or like the Warriors with 4 Hall of Famers on the team. Like that's where we talk about where it's like how do we separate Rodgers and Marino? And I think Marino and Rodgers are the only 2 deserving of S to me out of Montana, Elway, anyone else.
I would agree.
And I'm cool if we put both, to be honest. But they're at the end. But I also feel like there's that little in between tier.
Yeah, like John Elway and Joe Montana. I think those two are like in the same boat because let's keep on Marino. I'll put him in A tier for now. But deadly accurate, like you said, Max. I put up the slides while you were talking about him, and 6 straight years leading the league in completions. So,
and again, it wasn't like you could cheat your way in those days.
Right.
It wasn't like it is now, like where completion percentage is so is like skewed. So where are you going to put Marino? You're going to put him in A?
I'm going to put him in A for now.
A or S. What about Rodgers?
I put him in A. I put him in A for now.
I think Marino, Rodgers, Montana, Elway.
Yeah, and as far as Marino goes, you know, he's part of that famous what is it, 84 draft class, something like that.
Oh yeah, 83 draft class.
83
with John Elway. Yeah, last quarterback picked, I think, of that draft class.
Yeah, and wound up being arguably the best. And let's go ahead and lump in John Elway compared to Dan Marino. I think those two always go head to head as far as like who's better because played in the same eras. And John Elway, for me, this is where it gets tough because everyone wants to automatically put like John Elway into like the S tier, you know? And it's not because I'm a Bronco hater. It's really not. But I'm just going to say this. If you're going to use the argument that he has 2 Super Bowls and Dan Marino has 0, I'm automatically not having a conversation with you. Because in a way, I would say John Elway was not the number one reason why those Bronco teams were winning those Super Bowls those last 2 years. Because people have to understand how old and past his prime, really, John Elway was those Super Bowl years. Played in the league for a long time.
One. The first one, I'll say this, he balled out. You know, and he was like, I bet if you asked him, are you going to die on this field? He's like, yeah, I'm going to die. I'm going to die if I have to win this game. Because, you know, he goes helicopter mode. But I will say this, he dragged some Broncos teams to some Super Bowls they had no business being in.
Yes.
He dragged them to 2, and he got waxed in them.
And so did Dan Marino. And so did Dan. Exactly. Dan got waxed by the 49ers.
Yep. And just, so that's where, you know, it kind of sounds like Joe Montana, like, just hate, but it's not. It's like, we got these guys dragging good teams to Super Bowls where Montana's on a great team, a dynasty team, and it's hard to give him all the credit when these guys, you know, Elway deserves a lot of credit for what he did. But like, you're 100% right. Those last 2 Super Bowls, especially going back to back, he was kind of like Peyton Manning when he won in Super Bowl 50. He was kind of the old veteran. He'll play good, but don't rely on him. The second one especially was the TD show.
Yeah, and they got blessed. They got blessed with landing on Mike Shanahan. Like, you look at the Dolphins, it's like they were in turmoil, and they've honestly been in turmoil ever since Dan Marino has left. Like, Don Shula winded up retiring. They were kind of struggling to get a new coach, and it just went downhill. And the Dan Marino show was just over. The Dolphins were done, and they didn't really have an identity. And it's like the Broncos, they kept that going when Mike Shanahan. They landed on a revolutionary type of guy to really bring something different to the NFL.
The run game is still used today. Still going to Super Bowls with that run game, the 49ers.
And it's just how the cookie crumbles, bro. And that's why it's like, if you're going to use Super Bowls as an argument, I'm going to sound like a broken record in this podcast, but like, if you're going to use that. No.
If Super Bowls is your only argument,
yes,
you're missing a huge piece of everything.
Yeah.
Because by that standard, it's Brady, it's Bradshaw, it's Montana. Those 3. Hey, John Elway's better than Peyton Manning by your argument, right? Jalen Hurts better than Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Throw Kurt Warner in that mix.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So look, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable the fact that we're lumping these guys into A. You know, it's becoming a very sacred tier with some of the names that we have in here. So I'm going to throw John Elway into A, and I'm also
we got 4 names, right?
Yes, and I'm also going to throw Dan Marino in there. So right now we got Joe, Aaron, Dan Marino, and John Elway in A tier.
Okay, so let me fix the order. Let's fix the order really quick.
Okay,
let's put Marino, Rodgers, Joe, Elway.
Marino, Joe, Aaron, Elway.
No, Aaron before Joe.
Okay.
If you're cool with that. If you have a disagreement, let me know.
No, that's fine. We're picking hairs. I mean, those guys, it's so tough. It's so hard.
If somebody put Montana above Aaron, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
we could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
If
you
they
can
said
put
Super
any of these
Bowls, I'd be
guys,
like,
honestly.
nah.
The only one I'm having trouble with is like if you're definitively putting Dan Marino over John Elway, where it's like, oh yeah, like he's in a different class and tier, that's when I have a problem, honestly. But when you're doing it like this, I don't have a problem. I really don't. Like, because once we put them in the tier, we're really splitting hairs with these guys. All
I
right.
agree. It's really tough.
Let's go to another dude. Let's go to two guys that have a conversation for some people. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. Let's go Drew Brees and Brett Favre. I feel like those two guys are having an argument, like raising their hand right now as far as I'm A tier guy. Drew Brees, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, 2 times, Comeback Player of the Year, future Pro Football Hall of Famer. Only made one All-Pro team, guys. Or only made one first team All-Pro, excuse me. All the rest second team.
Yeah.
Has a shit ton of Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
The stats are ridiculous. Over 80,000 passing yards, 571 touchdowns. NFL record for most 5,000 passing yard seasons with 5. Obviously played for the Chargers and New Orleans Saints. And I would say
that, what do you think? Like if I tell you 1, 2, 3, where is he?
Oh man, I do. I kind of want to put him in the A, but like in that B tier, I feel like he's gonna be top dog, bro. Like it's same thing's gonna go for Brett. So like I kind of feel like him and Brett need to go into the A tier, and that's it.
I think in my money, I think Brett Favre is an A tier guy, and this is the top of B for my money. Wow. I know it sounds crazy.
Noodle arm, Drew Brees, you motherfucker.
I know. I would say this: the stats, you got to throw him out the window. Like, was he super productive? Yeah. Like, even when he wasn't a good quarterback, like when he was like the 10th best quarterback in football, he was putting up top 5 numbers. Right? We would agree. He was really good for a long time. I just think in terms of impact, especially at the end, it's tough, man. I
think you got that noodle arm era a little bit too much engraved in your head.
I really think there's a difference between the guys in A and Drew Brees. I really do. Like, I truly believe that in terms of talent, in terms of just what they did, like on the field. I truly believe that. Like, Drew Brees was playing with an offensive mastermind that just was like, hey, we're going to short pass. We're going to dink and dunk the whole time. Like their whole offense was medium to short, and that was perfect for Drew Brees. It wasn't a lot of big shots. I think, and at the same time, I can see how Brett Favre's kind of flawed too. Like, they're both flawed because Brett Favre was like the ultimate gunslinger, where he never saw a pass he didn't like. Where Brett Favre's aggressiveness cost him a Super Bowl appearance against the Saints. Definitely some bounties being thrown in that game, but neither here nor there. But in my mind, I think Brett Favre is the bottom of A, and Drew Brees is the top of B. That's just me. If it's so egregious you can't agree, and you want to put Drew Brees at the bottom of A, I will accept.
I'm just looking ahead. I'm looking ahead at the names, and I'm gonna say this. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm already thinking about B tier. I'm like, okay, so if Drew is gonna be in B tier, who's gonna be with him? I'm looking at Big Ben. I'm looking at Steve Young. I'm looking at Warren Moon. I'm looking at Troy Aikman.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
I don't know if I can say that Drew, like Big Ben and like Troy Aikman.
Come on.
I think Drew is like clearly ahead of him, tier wise.
Take out the numbers.
Yeah, take out the. I mean, he has the numbers, right? He has the Super Bowl.
He's got S tier numbers. What are you talking about?
Yeah, S tier numbers. But I'm saying let's break it down. He has the S tier numbers. He has the Super Bowl win where he was
really good.
Really good.
Really good.
He has the impact as far as offense goes, where it's like they were arguably the best offense in the league for like a 4-year stretch. Would you say that?
I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with Sean Payton too. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of that has to do with a lot of these guys' head coaches.
No, but I would say, like, that's where it kind of, like, with Rodgers and other guys in AI, you could make the case like they never really had the perfect coach.
Drew Brees never really had the perfect weapons. He had Jimmy Graham, who was out of the league after Drew Brees didn't exist.
And when he first got there,
when he left Drew Brees, what happened?
When he first got there to New Orleans, they had a lot of weapons. Let's not forget.
He created Slant Boy. He created Marcus
Colston. That's a negative. What are you talking about? See, all Drew Brees could throw is slants.
I think Drew Brees should be an A tier. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, at the bottom, but I think he's A tier. I'm gonna fight you on it.
You agree that Brett Favre's better than Drew Brees?
Yes, 100%. I'll give you that.
Come on, that's what I'm like. I think we do the same thing we do in Montana. We put Brees in the B tier for right now. We established that line. For my money, this is gonna sound crazy. There's not a huge gap between Drew Brees and Matthew Stafford. That's just me. That's just me in terms of the quarterback. You know it. That's why you laugh. You know it. You effing know it.
Stafford is hard. He's going to be hard to rank. Okay, let's go to Brett Favre because he's one of my personal favorites. Okay. Other than Peyton Manning, I had very big. I'm a very big fan of Brett Favre.
Who didn't love Brett Favre as a kid, bro?
I mean, dude, who didn't want to be Brett Favre as a kid? Let's just say that.
Like the cannon arm. Like the backyard football, just sling it. The favorite Brett Favre moment is at Gruden's quarterback camp, and they're like, "Why'd you throw that?" He's like, "Cause I can't.
Cause I can't.
The safety's never seen an arm like mine." I was like, "Do you, King?"
Yeah, he was tough as nails. I know everyone wants to remember like the shenanigans that happened with Brett Favre at the end of his career, and don't get me wrong, like. It was kind of like a poor man's version of what Aaron Rodgers is doing in a sense, like the soap opera type shit. But like when he was playing, man, he was backyard football. Like you want to embody, I think every single quarterback that has ever played after Brett Favre has taken some piece of what Brett did. Everyone wants to do something.
Mahomes didn't get that backyard football crap from Brady, Peyton. That's all Brett Favre.
That's Brett Favre, man. That's 100% Brett Favre. 3-time MVP, Offensive Player of the Year. Max has the Iron Man on him because of the consecutive starts that he owns.
That is a legitimately impressive, like Cal Ripken level streak.
Yes.
The broken thumb game against the Raiders. Sorry, one. Or no, it was a broken thumb and his dad dying.
And his dad dying.
The Raiders, and he just torched. Like, bro, if you watch that game, how ridiculous are some of those throws? You're just like, how?
It's cannons. I would say this. One of the games that I probably watched maybe 2 years ago. I was bored and I was watching the game. I watched one of Barry Sanders' playoff games against Brett Favre. And there was a pass that Brett Favre threw. I really think it's like one of the top 5 greatest passes that I've ever seen from a quarterback. Like the amount of oomph that he put on that ball and the way that it just fell into the receiver's hands. Like it was crazy. I would say that one and the one that he threw against the Niners when he was on the Vikings. Do you remember in the back of the end zone? That one's crazy.
A 40-yard on a rope. Like the ball there's no arc. It's just gunned.
Yes.
And remember the chin strap, dude? Remember Full had no chin strap, just picking up his receivers, playing in dude. The 297 starts is even more ridiculous. 321 with playoff starts in Lambeau's ridiculous. With the frozen tundra of Lambeau.
Yeah.
I would say this. He's certainly flawed because he was too aggressive. His whole career was too aggressive. But you know what? He was magic. He brought some, there might be a year where you're like, damn, Brett Favre was Jameis. Like, boy was slinging it.
Yes.
Way too. But there were some years where you're like, damn, he's the best quarterback in football. And I'll never forget that. I think it was that 2007 year where they were the 1 seed and the Giants came in there and beat them to go to the Super Bowl. I was so hurt. I wanted Brett Favre to go get one more so bad. They were going 5 wide, every play, and Brett Favre was dicing him up. He's A tier for me, man. He really is.
Yeah, I think he's an easy A tier. Call me biased, because I'm a big Brett Favre fan, but look, for my money, like Brett Favre had arguably the hugest arm, and I love his play style. And like Max said, it was kind of like a double-edged sword with him. Like it helped him out, like it made him really good, but at the same time, it probably costed him, let's be honest, like some Super Bowls, some playoff wins, and some wins just in general in his career because of his gunslinger mentality. The automatic game that I think of is the NFC Championship. Like that's on him. That doesn't have any other quarterback. It was a cardinal sin to do that, but it was so Brett Favre like.
Yeah. And just to say this about his Super Bowls, by the way, should have won Super Bowl MVP the first time.
Yes.
He threw for 500 yards in 2 Super Bowls with 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. Yeah. Not bad at all. It wasn't like, I thought he played good against the Broncos too.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Broncos were like that team of destiny.
Yes.
If he
that's the helicopter game, right? With John Elway.
Yeah, it was a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brett Favre, we're gonna put him in A tier.
Where are you gonna put your boy Brees? Where are you gonna put him? Because you have control. I can't stop him, guys.
I know. Let's put him in freaking B. All right.
For now, we could always move him up.
We can always move him up, but I'm gonna put.
He ain't good enough because he's short.
That's a high standard for B. I love the standard we're starting with B.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into some of these other guys who, like I said, they're kind of like raising their hand, like I'm in A. Like I don't think so though. Let's go to Steve Young. All right.
Oh yeah. I think he's raising his hand like, yo, I better be a B.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's
he's a B quarterback. Yeah.
We're getting to that moment. I'm gonna lump in Steve and Troy Aikman because I think it's only right. I think they were like versus each other in the 90s. 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP for Steve Young, 2-time MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Pro Football Hall of Famer. 6-time All-Pro guy, 3 of them each from second and first team, 7-time Pro Bowler. Some of the stats for Steve Young: over 33,000 passing yards, 232 passing touchdowns. Look, it's kind of crazy. Supplemental draft for Steve Young.
Well, we got to, just so you guys know, there was this thing called the USFL.
Yes,
he was balling out there. Like this is where it gets so strange,
so
right?
weird. He was kind of the first Aaron Rodgers in a sense, that he was playing behind a legend in Joe Montana, and they went through that transition where they got rid of Joe. Joe went to Kansas City. It was Steve Young's show. Yeah, and just to even add, it was you know what? I'm even forgetting myself because it was so long ago I wasn't alive. But he was drafted by Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
got traded from Tampa Bay to San Francisco. And everyone was like, who's this? It was kind of like a Brett Favre situation, if anything, because Brett Favre got traded from Atlanta.
Who's this lefty who's running around like playing crazy and
all this Steve stuff. Young, a lot of people don't remember, he was mobile. Like he was a running quarterback, Steve Young. And so
and just to put one little caveat, the 3 Super Bowls, 2 were as a backup. He didn't do nothing. You just watched Joe Montana ball. But continue, keep going.
No, and it was a big thing for Steve, man. And I'm so happy for Steve because I can only imagine if Steve Young was playing in today's media, the amount of shit that he would get as far as like those failures that he was having trying to step into the shoes and the shadow of Joe Montana. And you can see the relief that he had when winning the Super Bowl. He's like, I got that monkey off my back.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome. I would say this. He had a little window right there where he was exceptional. I would say from like 91 to like 95, he was one of the best guys in the league. Dealt with a lot of concussions and stuff.
Yeah.
I would say this. He's a clear B tier. He's nowhere near the top of the list, but he's a cream de la cream of the B tier. Really is.
100%. Steve Young, big fan of him. Fun little fact that Super Bowl that he won against the San Diego Chargers, beat down on the Chargers. Biggest blowout, I think, in NFL Super Bowl history. I was born that night.
Seattle, I think. Seattle got.
I was born that night that Steve Young got the monkey off his back. That just shows my age.
I know. If the Chargers won, guys, he could have been a Charger fan.
Oh hell no! Thank God. It was only right for me to be born on the day that the Chargers get their ass kicked, had to enter the world.
And that's why the Raiders have sucked for 30 years of one's life, all because of crap like that. Just letting you know.
Okay, let's put Steve Young into B tier. Okay, but let's lump in
Troy.
Let's lump in Troy because I think me and Max are gonna have some crucial thoughts about Troy Aikman. 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Pro Football Hall of Famer, never made an All-Pro team. Crazy thing about Troy Aikman.
Why, Juan? What were they doing in Dallas during those years?
They were running the goddamn football. That's what they were doing.
Guys, if you haven't checked out our Emmitt Smith video, this is a great time. Shout out to MJC Sports who made that Emmitt Smith video. They were just handing that ball off to Troy Aikman. But this is where we talk about how with the older guys, Troy Aikman, I don't know if you read the stats, 165 touchdowns, 141 interceptions. The way he had to play quarterback was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was run. We need a big throw. I will put Troy Aikman in B. I would love to see what he would do now in the NFL or in a modern offense because he was big, powerful arm, accurate, tough as nails. Troy Aikman, he's a legend of the game. There's a reason he's in the Hall of Fame with a very pedestrian, would you say,
resume? Yeah, besides the 100%. Super Bowls, the resume is not all that impressive.
This is somebody who would be in my Hall of Fame. He really would. I have no problem with Troy Aikman being there. I really don't.
I would say this about Troy. He was another, receiver of the salary cap issue in the NFL. It was the Cowboys and 49ers. So getting Dion, getting guys like Charles Haley.
Would he be in your Hall of Fame if one? Or is he borderline? I would put him in.
It would be hard. I don't think so.
No, really. Then I feel like if he's not there, you shouldn't put him in C. He shouldn't even be in B.
Yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't put, if we're being that tough. Yeah, I would be that tough. I would put everyone that's in S and A tier, even Drew Brees. I would have to swallow that pill. That's how tough I would be.
See, I think there's a couple guys in B who could make it. There's some guys who couldn't make it. I would put for the way he had to play quarterback because, again, the talent was much greater than the production. But that's what I'm saying. You got to throw out the production because,
you said, we will never see. We will never see. We will never know. I love to use this argument with Klay Thompson a lot, just a random player, because Klay is one of those guys that shoot the lights out or whatever. But it's kind of the same thing. We're never going to be able to see Klay, especially because he's out of his prime, to be put in a situation to where it's hey, bro, we need you to do more. Let's see if you can do it. Let's see if you're great as everyone says you are. And it's kind of the same thing with Troy. He never had to. He had Irvin. He had Emmitt Smith. He had that great offensive line. He never really had to. And then the excuse that he has before Emmitt got there and before Jimmy Johnson got there, it was
worst team in football.
Yeah, they were the worst. But he was a rookie. It was he was young, growing pains, so.
Yeah. I would say this one. I think if the way you're talking about him, I think we should bump him down to C, the way you're talking about him.
I don't think so because I think B needs to get filled up, and I have no problem putting him in B. I just think he's going to be a little bit lower on the totem pole for me. But yeah, let's talk about a guy that I don't want to slip behind the cracks because I have high praise for him, and I think he's automatically a B tier guy. I'm gonna go down forever saying this. Warren Moon. Let's talk about Warren. 60 legend score, not all that impressive, but is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Walter Payton Man of the Year, won one Offensive Player of the Year award, one-time All-Pro guy, only his second team. He has multiple Pro Bowls, though, stacked up those Pro Bowls. His stats, he was undrafted, played for Houston, Minnesota, Seattle, and KC. Played for a very long time. Me and Max were looking back at this. He played for over 15 years. It's absolutely insane.
Do you know what he started his career in 1984? Do you know what he did between 1978 and 1983 one?
Yeah, he played in Canada. 6 seasons in Canada.
You know what? I think we can be adults about this. He suffered from racism. Yes. They didn't want black quarterbacks. They thought they were, people thought they couldn't do it. They couldn't be the leaders. They weren't smart enough. Whatever bullcrap reason they said back then, Warren Moon had all the talent. If you give him those 6 years in the NFL, we might be talking about him in A or possibly S.
Yep.
He had the prettiest ball ever thrown.
Yes.
It was like the most immaculate thing, had everything you need.
Yep.
But for the way his career kind of played out, I mean, obviously dealing with he didn't play 6 years. Like, he was like 28 when he got to the NFL.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could have that much longevity that late in his career just shows how talented he was. I think B is the perfect spot because obviously there was stuff left on the bone that wasn't necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. But I would never have said like, oh, he was the best quarterback in the NFL. But maybe that those years he spent playing in Canada, we'll never know.
Yeah, he was tough as nails, man. I love how you brought up the, throwing the football. I personally think he has the most beautiful spin on the ball of all time.
Yeah.
Any quarterback. It's funny with Warren Moon. If you guys ever know, Warren Moon leaves scratches all over the football because of how he throws it. It's like the last thing that he does is like with his nail, like scratch the ball.
Like nails, yeah.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
it's one of the most pretty balls. Like, I would say this, I'm a big fan of Peyton Manning. He did not throw pretty balls. He threw like low-key ducks, Peyton Manning. Because
he had like that wobble.
Yeah, he had the wobble. He had the wobble. Not ducks. But he had wobbles on him, and a lot of quarterbacks had those wobbles. I would say if anyone had a close comparison to a pretty ball, I would probably say Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers had a good looking football.
Threw a really pretty ball? Michael Vick.
Joe Montana. I would say Joe too.
Yeah.
Joe had a nice ball.
Not say Joe Montana. Joe Montana, the best quarterback I ever saw.
But Warren Moon, I think he's an easy B tier guy. I don't even think there's a discussion, and I'm going to put him over.
Can I throw a couple into the B tier? A couple hats in the B tier. I want to go Matthew Stafford, and I want to go Ben Roethlisberger.
Perfect. I was gonna go Big Ben.
Yeah.
Let's go Big Ben first, and then we'll have the argument why Matthew Stafford is not into that conversation with him more often. Big Ben, Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time Super Bowl champion, never made an All-Pro team. He made 6 Pro Bowls though. Part of the reason why he was playing in the era of Peyton Manning, as you can see, Peyton Manning was stealing all those All-Pros. And
not
Brady.
Just the era, the conference.
Yeah, conference too. 64,000 passing yards, 418 passing touchdowns. NFL record for most career games with 500 plus yards with 4.
Crazy to think that's him of all the people.
I would say this. Look, Big Ben, unfortunately, probably going to go down as off the field issues as well. We won't talk about that, but with Big Ben, I would say this. He is one of a kind. I'm going to say it like that. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback that played like Big Ben, ever, in my life. I really haven't. That's like close
honestly, I think this is, how you talked about it one where it's like every list, every position, there's a guy that like encapsulates why we're doing this. It's him. Yeah. I have no problem bunching him up with a guy like Drew. Like, if you look at Drew Brees' resume, you look at Big Ben's, you'll be like, wow, how is this guy even in the same tier? You had to be there. You had to be there when he was like one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football for like 10 years. And he never got the notoriety. What's crazy is there were years with like AB and Le'Veon Bell and Emmanuel Sanders and all their weapons where he was just slinging the ball. And the fact that he don't have one All-Pro team is a disgrace because he definitely had some of the best years. Tough as nails, like you said. Bro, you couldn't tackle him in the pocket. He just shrugged guys off. He had the nasty pump fake. I mean, think about the stats. Again, it's a little bit inflated for the era, but 64,418 passing touchdowns? Yeah. Like, he was slinging the rock. He's a legend. Honestly, dude, he has a case for the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, I think he's a first. I would argue he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. The way that they voted, like, I don't even think it's a question.
I would say he's better than Troy Aikman. He's not better than Drew Brees, but he's close. Like, it's closer than you would think just looking at it.
I would say this, Max. Out of all the guys that you kind of think of with Big Ben, it's like he had a bunch of receivers. He had Emmanuel Sanders. He had Antonio Brown. And you know how we feel about Antonio Brown in our wide receiver tier list video. But I would say
he got Mike Wallace paid, bro. He got Antonio Holmes
he had some
paid.
receivers. He had some pretty good running backs too. And of course, he had the defense. The defense in Pittsburgh has always been good, whether it was Bill Coward or Mike Tomlin, both guys. Yeah. But I would say this about Big Ben. He's one of the few guys that were in that situation that, yeah, they had a good defense, but man, like he was slinging the rock. He wasn't like this
Game
system
manager.
guy,
No.
game manager type
No.
dude. I would say
No.
the year that they won the Super Bowl the first time, he was. I would say that to a
Yeah.
certain point. After that,
Dude,
though,
the drive he went on against the Cardinals, that's Big Ben.
yeah, that's some top
Again,
level
one
shit,
of
bro.
the 5 best throws I've ever seen is that throw to Santonio Holmes.
Yeah,
The fact that that ball was completed.
yeah. And like I said, I don't think there's anyone that I've ever seen in NFL history play the way that Big Ben played. He had a different type of play style. A lot of people
So
try to
tough.
compare. There's nobody. There's nobody that was that big, that had the pump fake, that would just shred guys off like if he was a running back or a fullback out there. I never seen it in my life. And so he's a one of a kind. I think that's big praise for him. And I think it's B tier. And I would put him over Warren Moon and Troy Aikman for now.
I would too.
Yeah. Okay, let's now go to your boy. Let's go Matthew Stafford. I know how you feel about Stafford. We made a video on Stafford. You guys can check that one out as well. Comeback player of the year, one-time Super Bowl champion, no all-pros, only a 2-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, somehow.
And his stats
criminal.
are honestly, I mean, 59,000 passing yards. He's obviously still playing, so these numbers are most likely going to go up. Play for Detroit, and obviously is playing for the Rams currently. Max, how do you feel about Matthew Stafford, and where does he rank on this list?
He's above Big Ben. He's behind Drew Brees. What I would say about Matthew Stafford is a little bit similar to Big Ben, where they're so criminally underrated. It's almost like we need to get a PR firm to just give them some love. Here's the difference, right? Matthew Stafford was on some really flawed Detroit teams. Like, he took them to the playoffs a couple times where we both know, like, dude, they suck. Like, they're not going to win. They have no defense. The O-line suspect. But we got number 9. We got Calvin. We got a chance. And as soon as he got traded to a team that had like a foundation, that had talent around him, what happened? He has authored the 2 greatest wide receiver seasons I've ever seen, between Calvin and Cooper Kupp. I understand both those guys were good. Let's say this about Cooper Kupp one. Once we're removed a couple years, we're kind of like, damn, like, what happened? Like, Stafford just like, I mean, think about the games he played. He beats Tom Brady in Tampa, where they're kicking their ass. Like, he kicked Tom Brady's ass for 3 quarters, and then Cam Akers decided, I'm going to fumble the ball 3 times in the quarter. And I got to listen to my grandpa just say, oh, Brady's bringing him back. I told you. I'm like, dude, they punching the ball out. Like, that ain't Tom Brady ain't out there. 12-8 on defense. But then he goes to the NFC Championship game, come back against the Niners, Super Bowl. That drive to win the Super Bowl was ridiculous. It was, what was it one? Like, get 10 yards, come back 10, get hit, get 5, come back 5. It was ridiculous, right? 3 penalties. Matthew Stafford is a legend. Now, what Stafford suffered from was being on bad Detroit teams and just some good quarterbacks. But how was he underrated? How did he not make more Pro Bowls? Mac Jones made Pro Bowls. He can't make one. It's just criminal underrated. And the one point about Big Ben, it was kind of like, oh, he'll never get the credit because it's Pittsburgh and their defense. But it's like, yo, he's leading the league in passing yards, but he don't get credit. So it's just weird. Some guys just don't get the PR.
I would say this. I agree with you 100%. You know.
Sorry, little rant.
No. Deservingly so. That's why Max wanted to make that. It was his idea for the Matthew Stafford video because how he felt about Stafford. I would say this. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I'll tell you the why. I would say if I had to think of a flaw with Matthew Stafford is that he got hurt a lot. I think he suffered from his early years.
I disagree. The early years, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His early years, he was hurt. Like, and he was looked at a lot differently. It was looked at like, man, is this guy even gonna be like good for Detroit? Like, did we pick a bust kind of guy? Not because of his talent. It was just like, did we pick a bust because this guy's always getting hurt type of thing. So like he suffered from that, and then obviously, I have a hard time putting him definitively like over Drew Brees. I don't have a problem
Oh
putting
no,
him
I
in
wouldn't say
B.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem putting him in B, but I would say like, you know, we're taking everything into account. I think the fact that we have him in B is fine, but I think he's at the bottom or slightly above Troy
Here,
Aikman.
here's what I'm gonna say, and I hate that I have to say this. With the names in B, I think we're gonna have to move Drew Brees up. I think with the way it's played out, because he's overqualified for B, but
Yes.
but I think he's underqualified for A. So I think you should move Drew Brees up. I hate to say it.
Yep. I
I
agree.
think we established it. I think we established a good like line now, but he had to come up. So
And I have no
I would say
problem.
this.
I have no problem with
I
putting
would say this.
Stafford in
And
B.
the top of B would be for my money, Big Ben,
Steve
Steve
Young,
Young,
Warren Moon.
Stafford. I would say Stafford's better than Warren Moon.
That one's tough,
Splitting
but
hairs.
we're splitting hairs. And Troy at the bottom.
Yeah, as of right now.
Okay. All right. Now let's go.
Sorry, I doubted you on. Sorry, I doubted you.
Let's go Kurt Warner.
Ooh, what an interesting case.
Yeah, it's because he's gonna. I think a lot of people talk about him in this little B tier right here. So let's have
This
the conversation.
grocery bagger.
Let's have the conversation about Kurt Warner, Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP guy, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Pro Football Hall of Famer, 2-time All-Pro guy, part of the greatest show on turf with the St. Louis Rams. Look, his numbers they're decent. Let me run. They're decent.
Yeah.
I would just say this though, like Kurt Warner was shit at a certain point in the NFL. Like his career was over before he went to Arizona. He was gonna be out of football.
It's literally like you're the best quarterback in the league for a 2-year stretch to almost out the league to Arizona, like revived. Like he was really good in Arizona.
So
I will say that.
So this is where I'm thinking like, okay, we can easily put him at the bottom of B at the very least. Yeah. That's like the highest that he can go, should I say. Yeah. But part of me wants to start that line and be like, this is the standard for C guy. What are you thinking?
I think he's too high for a C. I think I'd put him at the back end of B. I really would.
Okay.
Because I will say this, his numbers were inflated by the greatest show on turf.
Yeah. And I would say this about Kurt. Like the fact that, yeah, he was on a great team, but like his story.
The Arizona thing saved the B tier.
Yes.
If he didn't have the Arizona, I would say he'd be in C. But he wasn't just good for 1 year in Arizona. He was good for like 3 years, and then the Saints killed him. Yeah. Legitimately. And messed him up.
Yeah. It was bad. But you can argue that he should have won that Super Bowl against the Steelers, man. Like it was so close. Like him and Larry were on a tear.
The defense had to make a stop.
Yeah, man. It was tough. Like Kurt Warner did his job. He should have had a ring.
You said something before I interrupted you, and I'm sorry, but you said something about like for what we thought, like his expectations, he's like an S tier for like
that's part of it.
From grocery bagger to Super Bowl MVP is S tier.
Like I feel like Stafford suffers that from a little bit because he was the #1 pick, so the expectations were high.
It's kind of like, oh, you should win 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
it's like no, like most first #1 picks don't win that much ever.
So it's like part of it with Kurt Warner is like it's the story. The story is amazing. You know,
there's no bar
groceries and stuff. Like it's amazing to hear. But I'm cool with B. I struggle with Kurt Warner a lot, man. I do. I struggle with him.
I do, yeah.
He's a tough one.
I feel like the Arizona thing saved it for him. But really did.
I think I know who's gonna be.
I know where you're going.
I think I know who's gonna solidify that C tier, and he's gonna be top dog. All right, let's go, my boy Eli Manning. Let's go. Okay. Let's go, Eli. All right, you know how I feel about Eli, man. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, no All Pros to his name, 4-time Pro Bowler. The stats are not gonna amaze you, fellas. It's not. 57,000 passing yards, 366 passing touchdowns. But you know what? NFL record for most passing yards in the playoffs with 1,219.
And like a single playoff run.
In a single playoff run. So look, I'm gonna start it off on how I feel about Eli Manning. Look, I know it's really only the 2 years you have to look at. It's
Hold on.
2011.
Do you want to have the conversation we had a few years ago, and then I'll hit you with that in the middle of it, or how do you want to do it?
You can say it after. All right, let me say my piece.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So those 2 years that he had, okay, I think it was one of the greatest performances that we have ever seen by a quarterback, along with Joe Flacco. Okay. He was a gamer, bro. I just feel
Twice.
like he was a gamer, bro.
Twice.
I think it has to say something about beating the greatest team in NFL history in the regular season in the New England
At least
Patriots.
we've seen. Yeah. At least we've seen.
Like it's something to be said, man. And he was a big part of that. And then the throws that he was making on those playoff runs, like it saved them. It's the same thing. It's why we struggle with Kurt Warner. Okay, it's on the lower totem pole because he never won it.
Iguodala. He got hot at the right time and somehow won Finals MVP. I would say this, Wad. You're 100% right. Everything you said. You can't tell the NFL story without this moron. No, I'm kidding. This guy, Eli Manning. Look, a couple years ago, we had this whole big thing. Like it almost came to a fist fight where one was like, "He's a Hall of Famer." I said, "Do you know how many playoff games he's won?" He's like 12. I'm like, he had 2 runs. He sniffed the playoffs 3 times. He only got 2 runs. He
made the most out of them, though.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. Like the fact that he got just as many as Peyton is crazy. I would say this. He's C tier. He's the top of the line. He's a good quarterback, not great, but just shows you even a good quarterback when they hit 5. Like this is what I talk about with Stafford. Like Stafford is twice the quarterback this dude is. He was the first pick too, but because he got those 2 rings and it was like a really special ring, it erased all the bad he did. That's one thing you have to agree with that. Like you talk about the story.
He's a special case. I just felt like he's a special case.
Whoever the PR from the Mannings hired to get this guy into the Hall of Fame when he didn't make it the first year. I just want to point that out. One, he was eligible, didn't make it, but
I mean, the thing is, like I said, I'm going to stop you there.
Don't you agree?
I'm going to stop you there.
Hold on. Don't you agree? The fact that he got those 2 Super Bowls against who we got him against kind of erased some of the disappointing parts of his career.
Yeah, 100%. That's part of it. But I would say this: it's deeper than that because it's not like he did it in a way where, oh my God, the Giants were just stacked and they.
No, I know. I agree. I think I will say this about those teams: they're underrated in how they were built, but they weren't like the best roster of all time.
Yeah, and you can argue Eli elevated them to a whole nother level than any other quarterback could have ever done.
Just got Bill Belichick's number, bro.
Like I don't think like you love to say this argument. This should be your soundbite. Like you put that guy on that team, does he do that? I truly feel like you put half of these guys on those Giants teams. I don't think they do that. In all honesty, they don't.
This moron just got hot when it mattered most, bro. I swear to God, man.
Like, this guy I'm being honest. I love Stafford.
8 games a year.
Whole
career.
I love Stafford. I can say with a lot of confidence, Max, you put Stafford on those Giants teams, they don't do what Eli did on those teams.
I'm not sure. I feel like those 2 runs, I don't know if Stafford can do it. The first one was like an Eli spec. I don't know, man.
That shit's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
He's a C guy though. I think we can agree that he's not better than all.
Yeah,
low-key Cam Newton might be better. No, I'm kidding.
I told you I was ready for that standard and C. I'm like, I know exactly where I'm putting Eli.
Say Phillip Rivers, to be honest.
Okay, let's go Phillip. Let's stay on that draft class because we can lump them together.
I think he's D tier. I can't trust anyone who throws the ball like he did. That's dog. No. Phillip Rivers was a dog. You saw him twice a year for your whole life, basically.
Look, Phillip Rivers is going to definitely go down as one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I used to hate playing against him. He was a tough-ass SOB, man. He talked a lot of shit. Won a comeback player of the year. And his career was just kind of weird because he took over after Drew Brees, where Drew Brees had this injury. And they're like, all right, like it's Phillip Rivers time. Let's see how he does. Let's see if he's even better than Drew. He was pretty damn good. He was...
Is he better than Eli Manning for your money as a player?
No, I think Eli Manning is better than Phillip Rivers. I would say his highs are better than Phillip. And Phillip, unfortunately, just didn't get it done. He just didn't. That's the thing about Phillip Rivers. He couldn't get it done.
He had a little bit of the anti-clutch gene for like he had some clutchness, but he also had some like I'm gonna ruin the game. Remember like chargered it up. A lot of charger it up with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. And I don't have no problem putting him in D tier. I think the fact
no. I think he's C.
You think he's C?
I do think he's C right now.
I have a feeling we're gonna jump him down, but we'll put him in C for now. One thing about Phillip, though, I want to mention as well. I feel like I'm going to use your argument against you again. I feel like a lot of quarterbacks get it done with what he had. He had Antonio Gates. He had Vincent Jackson, who was a pretty good, damn good receiver. He had LT. He had a great defense with Sean Marion, who was a top 3 rusher at the time.
Lights out.
Lights out, baby.
I would say this one,
but unfortunately,
I want
to say this line. Let me get this line.
Tom Brady on that one Chargers team that had the number 1 offense and defense and didn't make the playoffs because of special teams.
I was gonna say this. Sean Marion was lights out, but the Chargers got their lights punched out plenty of times in the playoffs. All right, I'm just gonna say that.
You're just a hater.
I am. But look, I seen Phillip Rivers a handful of times live. Like I seen Phillip.
So you want to put him in D just to start it off?
I think we should put him in D. Let's see how it goes.
We'll bring him up if anything.
Yeah, because I think that C tier is going to be held for different type of dudes.
You think? So we got a few names left. Do you want to go more modern guys? Or...
No, let's save because I think the modern guys are going to be quick because I don't think there's so much more left on that bone for them.
No, I mean by modern like is Matt Ryan modern or is he like too far?
No, Matt Ryan is modern. That's a good name to go to. Let's go Matt Ryan.
Okay.
So Matt Ryan, let's take a look at him. See, I feel like with Matt, is there anything that's very much like separating him and Phillip Rivers? I don't think so.
1 year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like Matt and Phillip go in the same tier in D. I feel like they're D tier guys. MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, that one-time All-Pro because of that MVP year, 4-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I would. Honestly, I would put both these. I mean, I would say this: if once we get to some more names, I feel like there's a lower line than these guys. To be honest,
because I'm telling you this right now, I'm thinking like Michael Vick. I know like his career isn't that amazing. Like I think I'm putting him in C tier because he's in that weird class with Eli, where it's like he was just great in his own weird way.
No, I would say Michael Vick benefits from without him. There's no Lamar or Cam, and people are going to say, "What about Randall?" But like Vick was a different time in the NFL when it was like the Michael Vick experience, and it's there's so much more media and exposure. So I think we should do this. I think we should table both these guys. What's the basis for D? We have to establish D right now because C and D
longevity and pretty damn good quarterbacks.
Who's the guy on this list you put in D to set that standard for D?
I think it's Phillip Rivers.
Okay, Phillip Rivers.
I think it's Phillip Rivers, and I'm gonna lump in Matt Ryan. I'm just gonna throw him in there. I think Matt Ryan had a very solid career, and I would. I think they're the same guy. If he didn't win that MVP, he's the same guy.
If there was a C+, I would put Eli Manning in C+, and I would put like guys like this into C. But again, just going off what we're doing, it's really tough because we have to draw so much. So would you put Steve McNair into D as well?
I think Steve McNair is a D quarterback.
I think so too. He was really fun. RIP.
Yeah, let's go,
soon.
Steve. I would say this. Steve is probably the closest thing I've seen to Big Ben, but I think Big Ben was just a lot better. MVP for Steve McNair.
Eric McNair was crazy though.
Yeah, MVP. Only one. How do you win MVP and not be the first team All Pro? By the way, I think he wanted a. It was a co-MVP. Yeah, it was. I think Rich Gannon.
Stupidest thing ever.
I think Rich Gannon wound up winning the first team All Pro. 3-time Pro Bowler for Steve McNair. Had some really good playoff success with the Titans that one year, going to the Super Bowl. over
Yeah.
34,000 passing yards. Known, like Max said, Air McNair had some pretty good years in Baltimore as well. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
his life ended pretty unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So that sucks. R.I.P. to Steve McNair. But for my money, man, Steve McNair was a hella quarterback, bro. Like he was really good. I'm gonna put him in the D tier. It's no
I'm cool with
slide.
that.
Yeah, it's no slide towards him. I just feel like there's some pretty good names out there in the D tier. Like
From
Philip.
his peak to where he kind of ended up, like he fell off a little bit.
100%.
Let's say this. Let me see. All right. Where's Tony Romo gonna go? This is gonna be a very controversial one.
Yeah, I was just gonna go there with Tony Romo. And with the standard that we're setting at D tier, I would have thought that we'll put him a little bit higher than expected going into this video. But
Yeah.
I think he's a D tier quarterback when it comes to the names that I'm seeing on there. He's a 2-time All-Pro guy, or 1-time All-Pro guy, 1 second team. Obviously didn't win a Super Bowl, 4-time Pro Bowler. Tony Romo, for my money, though, undrafted guy, had some great seasons with the Cowboys.
He got murdered by the media.
He did.
Way too toughly.
Yeah.
He was the face of all of Dallas's problems where, hey, we don't have a great defense. We don't have a great O-line. Because you see, like, the amount of success he had when he was given support was really good. Obviously, they couldn't get the job done, and they got robbed. Dez caught the ball. We can all agree. We're all adults. But for a long time, like, when Dallas was a mess, like, right after, like, between Parcells, I think it was, like, Wade Phillips, they were a mess. And Romo was a baller. Like, Romo was one of the best quarterbacks in football. It just makes you think if he had a little bit more support, he could have had a much better career. And that's all I want to say. For where he's rightfully ranked in D, but he had a lot more potential. And I think Dallas kind of didn't build the team around him nearly as well as they could have.
Yeah. So I have a close thing about Tony Romo. I should be a Cowboys hater. I didn't like him growing up, but the more and more I realized about Tony, I learned to appreciate him a lot more. And unfortunately, like, he had some weird moments early in his career, like the fumble snap on against Seattle, like that.
That whole, like, as soon as that happened, he could never escape the unclutch gene.
Yeah. But for my money, man, like, Tony Romo was the damn good quarterback. He had some great moments. I don't see any reason why he should not be talked about the same way that we talk about Phillip Rivers. That's just my opinion.
I agree. And I will say this too. It's absolutely crazy to think Dak Prescott is better than Tony Romo. It's not even close for my money. I just want to point that out as a Cowboy parallel, because I'm tired of seeing people talk about Tony Romo like he was a bum and Dak Prescott like he's the best quarterback in football.
Well, people love winning, Max, and he has more wins than you. So
yeah, you're right. I'd hope.
Okay, I'm gonna put Tony Romo in the D tier. So look,
honestly, I agree. I thought he was gonna go in C when we first started, but yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah,
it's some really hard lines in the sand.
And I'm gonna say this, Max. I feel like, who I'm kind of wanting to put in that C tier. We'll think about it right now, but I kind of want to make that C tier. It's making out to be a weird tier of, like, these are like special cases, guys, where their highs were the absolute highs, but their career was just weird in a sense, where it was like, whether it was Michael Vick with going to prison, whether it was Eli not winning a single time other than those 2 years, Kurt Warner being potentially trash and out the league, but when he was on the Cardinals and Rams, he was good. That's why I'm thinking about putting Kurt Warner down a tier and see. We'll see.
I'm cool with that.
We'll see for now.
Let's do it. Let's start it. Let's start it right now. Start it right now.
Let's put Kurt right there because I'm liking the way that tier is edging out for us. Let's go Michael Vick. I want to get Mike Vick out of here. You know how I feel about Michael Vick. He was, as a kid, I looked up to Michael Vick. I had Michael Vick shoes. I had a Michael Vick football. My first time
I had that red and black football. Yep. I had
my first time playing
I had a jersey.
My first time playing any type of organized football, which was flag football, I picked number 7 to be my number. I was an offensive lineman, Max, and I picked number 7. That's how much I loved. That's how much I loved Michael Vick. Comeback player of the year. 4-time all Pro Bowler. The stats are not going to amaze you, okay? Only 22,000 passing yards. Obviously, from the stretch from 2007 all the way to 2009, he was out the league. Okay.
He's in jail.
Dogfighting. Yeah. He was in jail. He didn't play. He wound up serving his time. He came back. He played for the Eagles. He had some very fun moments with the Eagles. I would say, like a fun year, really. So Michael Vick, for my money, man, he really did revolutionize the position, Max. He was one of those guys where, of course, he had the running ability, but like, yeah, I know Randall before his time, he was, just as shifty. But I'm sorry, man, there was nobody like Michael Vick that had a cannon like him and had the moves like Michael Vick. Everyone wanted to be like Michael Vick, I felt like. Like he
No,
was
I
just
agree.
he was just such a fun player to watch. And we will never know because we were stripped of an opportunity to see how his career would have played out, whether it was for the bad
I mean,
or for the good.
it's 2 years in his prime going to jail for a crime, you know what I mean? And the fact that he was able to bounce back, first player in NFL history to sign 2 $100+ million contracts, because the Eagles gave him a big contract after he got out. And I will say this about Michael Vick: there was nobody like him. Like you said it too with Randall was there, but like Michael Vick was just juking and dodging and making people look stupid. Like the first quarterback to go into Lambeau, win a playoff game. Michael Vick was special. He was special. Like Philip Rivers had a better career. Like guys had better careers. Tony Romo had a better career, but for like what happened and how it played out, C, bottom of C.
Yeah, I think he's a C tier guy. And you can't look at the numbers with Michael Vick. You had to be there. You have to understand the impact that he had on the NFL. And me and Max love to use this term, especially when we're doing shit like conversations about the Hall of Fame guys. You can't tell the story about the NFL without Michael Vick. Plain simple fact.
I
That's
agree.
it.
So let's put Randall. Where do you want to go with Randall?
I think Randall. I
I
think,
think he'd be in C too.
yeah.
If we're doing it for Rand, you know, like a guy who had a weird start to his career with Buddy Ryan and playing defense. And I mean, I think he was before his time. If he came into the NFL now, he'd have a lot more success than he had. And, he quit football, didn't love the game. But when he came back from Minnesota, he was almost NFL MVP and almost took them to a Super. They're one missed field goal away from going to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Randall Cunningham, one of those guys where, he was like a rubber band. He was, he was
Yeah.
tall, he was lanky. He had a great arm, man. Played in some very memorable games. Like he played in the Fog Bowl. That's how long ago he was playing against the Chicago Bears. But Randall Cunningham was the forefather of really like
The
running
athlete quarterback.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
athlete
athlete
quarterback. I
quarterback.
know Fran Tarkenton, everyone wants to say him or
No.
like Sammy Ball, but I would say
No, come on.
I would
There's a
say it's Rand.
difference.
Yeah, I would say it's Randall. I would say it's Cunningham, and for that, I think he deserves to be in that C tier because it's a lot of what if, And like I said, this C tier for me and you, Max, I feel like they're guys where it's like their peaks were so freaking high, but it's just
Yeah.
something weird about their career. It was just like something or another, something happened where it
Yeah.
kind of messes with your brain as far as how you think about them.
Would you lump Cam Newton into C?
I think he should be a C guy because I think he's one of those guys where, here's another thing that we would say. Eli, Kurt, Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham, and I'm going to throw in Cam Newton. All those guys in D tier never had a year as great as all of those guys, I would say.
Yeah. I would agree.
Let's talk about Cam. Cam Newton, who is recently retired, I would think. No one's really giving him a job.
No, he's done. He's done.
Absolutely. So he doesn't have any All-Pros, Max?
He's got one All-Pro, first team All-Pro.
So he has one first-team All-Pro, an MVP.
One MVP.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. The stats. This is the big one for me. NFL record for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback with 75 for Cam Newton. I mean, it's not something just to shrug at his stats, 32,000 passing yards, 194 passing touchdowns. I would say this though, man.
Think about the cast he took to the Super Bowl on offense. They lost their best receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, at the start of the year. He had Ted Ginn, Greg Olson, Jonathan Stewart. The what he was able to accomplish, and he had some other good years in there. Like as a rookie, he was good. He had Steve Smith, but he got banged up a lot, and he had a lot of shoulder problems with his throwing towards the end.
Put his body on the line.
Yeah, he was a really special player. I mean, for my money, this is the one thing I would say it's different between him and Matt Ryan, because we have Matt Ryan and D, right? Matt Ryan had weapons galore with him, right? Cam Newton dragged this team to the Super Bowl. They had no business being as good as they were. Like, they had a good defense, for sure, with like Luke Kuechly, but the offense was such a Cam Newton like show of power.
They lost 2 games that season, Super Bowl and 1 to Atlanta. They went 15-1. Like, I think that just shows the
I don't
impact.
know what quarterback you could put on there to do what he did.
I'm gonna say this about Cam Newton, and I can confidently say this. Cam Newton, that MVP year, that is a top 10 greatest seasons from a player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that confidently.
I agree. I totally agree.
He was so dominant, Max. He was doing things that we have never seen.
Bro, like, when he was dabbing on everybody,
come on, man.
So mad.
Superman, bro. Superman. There was a reason why he went down as that was his nickname. And Cam wasn't the most accurate guy. I'm not going to lie. He was not accurate. He was not the best thrower of the football. I'll tell you one thing, though. Cam Newton could throw the shit out of the deep ball. He had a really good deep ball. He could sling that thing down the field. And he was a different type of runner. I've never seen anyone like Cam Newton. A lot of people love to compare him to like Michael Vick and Randall. He was a different type of runner. He was Josh Allen before Josh Allen. I would say that. Basically. Cam Newton, C tier. I'm cool with that.
Do we round off C tier with Jim Kelly and Russ? Or is Russ not a C tier? I think Russ is C. I think we got to forget about the last few years with Russ.
I'm interested to see about Russ. This is really my first time digging deep into his numbers. Walter Payton Man of the Year, Super Bowl champion, only a one-time All-Pro guy, and it was the second team. Has
Did
so
you
many
know he never got an MVP vote one? Did you know Russell Wilson? Like, let him cook.
Hey, man, look, Russ, 46,000 passing yards, 350 passing touchdowns. I would just say this about Russ. There was a point in time when Russ Cook era was there for like a good 3-year stretch where he was damn good with Doug Baldwin and them boys. Like,
this is what defined it for me. When he got the ball, if they needed a field goal or touchdown, it was money. He was going to go down there and get it. Like, he would play an ugly game, but for Seattle, he was really good, especially after like the second Super Bowl. He was kind of keeping them on pace when the defense was dragging ass.
Yeah. I'm a big Russ fan. I kind of want to put him selfishly, like for my heart, like in the B tier, but I know that's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking C tier, but at the bottom of C tier.
Yeah, correct. Because like there was a lot of Russ magic, dude. You got to be there for some of the like crap dude, their offense sucked.
I would never
no O-line running around for like 20 minutes.
I would never forget the Green Bay game. The NFC Championship where he brought him back. The 2-point conversion that man did was absolutely ridiculous. Like, he made magic happen. Russ was making it happen, and it happened in weird ways, and that's why he's in the weirdly great tier. I would label that tier. Weirdly great. And Russ C tier quarterback, though. Let's go to let's get three guys. Yeah, let's get three guys that are retired. Jim Kelly.
I say C.
Pretty good resume, honestly. 2-time All-Pro, Pro Football Hall of Famer, 5-time Pro Bowler. The numbers are pretty damn good. 35,000 passing yards, a.k.a. K-Gun. I've never heard of that, Max. I've never heard of that nickname for Jim Kelly, but
Well, that was the offense. Wasn't that the offense? K-Gun?
I don't know.
That was the offense where they it was a no huddle up tempo.
So they
Thurman
called it the
Thomas,
K-Gun?
him and K-Gun. I believe that's what they called it. I would say this for a guy who had as many disappointing finishes to a year as Jim Kelly, he was really good. He was slinging the rock in the 90s. I would move him to C. I would
I'm gonna
almost
say
wanna
this. I'm gonna say this, Max. What
go
makes
ahead.
him any lesser than Troy Aikman
I
besides
was
the
gonna
Super
say
Bowls?
if I put him in C, I will put Troy Aikman in C. So I would think he's borderline B.
I think he's a B tier guy.
Yeah,
I think
he
he's a
is
B.
too.
He's
For
at the
the
bottom
era.
of B. He's at the bottom
Yeah,
of
for
B.
the era.
But for my money, there's no reason why
Yeah,
that
you're right.
you couldn't lump this guy with Troy Aikman. It's just
Yeah.
Troy had the better team. He had the better of him.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, you're make a valid point.
Jim
Who are the
Kelly,
other two guys you
bottom
want
of
to talk
B.
about?
So the two other guys I want to do before we get to the present guys is Donovan McNabb and Carson Palmer. Let's start off with your boy. Let's go to McNabb. All right. So McNabb, he's kind of a weird dude. I know this for damn sure. He's either C or D. I'm kind of leaning
No,
D right now.
he's D. He was really good for the 2000s. He was one of the best quarterbacks of the 2000s, but he was never the best. And it was like a clear gap between him and Peyton and Tom and other guys in that like even Brett Favre. I would say he's a D. He's a legend. He put up a lot of numbers with Andy Reid. His career went bad as soon as he left the Eagles. It was bad.
Yeah.
He
was out of
washed
shape.
up.
He was out of
Yeah.
shape. And he honestly, I'm gonna say this. He lacked that clutch gene. I can't trust anyone that's throwing up in the huddle in the Super Bowl because they're nervous.
You're a
all right?
hater. All right, so let's go to Carson Palmer. Now let's talk about a guy who stole money from the Raiders.
Thief.
I'm gonna get one mad.
Thief. I tell you, nah. Honestly, look, Carson Palmer's a weird case because he has two parts of his career. He has his Bengals career and then he has his Cardinals career, I would say. And his Bengals career kind of ended weirdly. Okay, he had some real success with the Bengals, man. Like
He also
he
had
was
some unluckiness. Like first snap of the postseason, torn ACL, boom.
exactly. One-time All-Pro guy. It was only a second team. He has 46,000 passing yards, Max.
Slinging the rock.
Almost 300 touchdowns. I kind of feel like he's the poor man's version of Matthew Stafford because he was so talented. He was the number 1 overall pick. I kind of want to lump him in that C tier, but unfortunately for Carson, he never had the big year. He never had
the big year would be the Arizona year.
Exactly.
But it wasn't like a Cam Newton type of year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And unfortunately, Cam beat his ass. I mean, the Cardinals got their ass kicked by the Panthers
in the
I
was
NFC
shocked.
Championship.
I was genuinely shocked when that happened.
So, look, Carson, he goes into that D tier. I feel very comfortable with how this D tier is shaping up. I feel like all those guys have everything in common as far as like they were damn good, but never really had that special year.
Correct.
With the exception of Matt.
Yeah, correct. I would say this. With the guys that are left, it's going to be interesting to place them because, first of all, so much football left, right? So, by my count, we have Josh Allen, Lamar, and Joe Burrow left. Those three.
Yes. Let's start off with the least one. I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna go Joe Burrow. Yeah, Joe Burrow.
I put him in C.
Right now, for my money, he is C. He's never made an All-Pro team. He is 2-time Pro Bowler. He only has 2.
Him not making the All-Pro, I'm sorry, doesn't just take away that he's been he was like the 3rd best quarterback in football last year. He was amazing. Yeah. And it's just stupid we only have 2 spots. So continue. Sorry.
Yeah, look, the stats, I'm going to show them, but obviously they're going to change. And I'm going to say this. He's a D-tier guy. If he just keeps on doing what he's doing and he never wins a Super Bowl, like, honestly, that's what's going to up his legacy at this point because I don't see him, unless he, drastically falls off, he's a D-tier guy.
Whoa, 100%. You think he's D or C?
I think he's a D-tier guy right now.
I think he's C. I think it's an easy C because he's been great. He's been clutch. He brought a Bengals team to a Super Bowl with the flawed team. He's been on the flawed team his whole career with no offensive line. And he's made that much magic. For me, he's C. He is an easy C. He's been
I
great.
don't.
He has been great. I don't care what the accolades are. You can't tell me Joe Burrow hasn't been a game-changing quarterback that has put Cincinnati as a perennial, like as a contender while he's been there. That's why I'm saying he's C. What he's done to the
Very
franchise.
true. Very true. I think that a little bit of it is projecting because honestly, I don't know. Like,
Who's better, Cam Newton or Joe Burrow, bro? I hate to be that
Cam.
guy.
Right
I
now?
think Joe Burrow.
Yeah, if you're projecting, Joe Burrow's probably going to be a better quarterback.
I'm just saying, like, if you take away that 1 year, like, a few of these guys had, like Joe Burrow.
Okay, you take away the Joe Burrow Super Bowl year. What do we have?
I think he's still been one of the best quarterbacks in football.
He's been one of the best quarterbacks in football for a year, maybe two.
No, for
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Two.
Other than that, it's injury riddled. Other than that, it's 2 injury seasons.
I put him in C, dude. I think he's clearly above the guys in D. He's clearly above, even with a little bit of a projection. Put him at the bottom of C.
Bottom of C, it's a projection. The present guys are hard because their career's not over. Now let's talk about Josh Allen and Lamar, where these are a little bit more top dogs. Same draft class. Lamar obviously has the 2 MVPs already. He has 3 first-team All-Pros, 4-time Pro Bowler. What's stats.
Josh Allen's stuff too afterwards.
Yeah. So Lamar, most career rush yards for a quarterback, 6,173 yards. Most rush yards by a quarterback in a season with just over 1,200 yards. 20,000 passing yards, 166 passing touchdowns, 49 interceptions with a rating of 102. With Josh, he has 1 MVP, 2-time All-Pro, but both of them are second team, never made a first team. He's only a 3-time Pro Bowler, which is kind of shocking. I think because he sat out a couple Pro Bowls. Most rush touchdowns by a quarterback in a season. That was just his last year, I believe. 15 rushing touchdowns for him. Shout out to my fantasy team. He has 26,000 pass yards, 195 pass touchdowns, 84 interceptions, and a rating of 93.4. Now, when it comes down to these 2 guys, Max, I think they're going to be compared and talked about for a while because I think
you lump them up wherever we put them, though. Do you agree?
Yes, and I'm honestly thinking B tier because the trajectory of MVPs, they already have multiple playoff wins themselves. I know they can't get past Mahomes yet, but part of this is projecting. And honestly, if we're projecting to a wide margin, I would say they're on their way to be an A-tier quarterback.
I would agree.
Honestly,
I would absolutely agree. I'd put them in B, and I'd say A-tier's on its way for both. Like Josh Allen making 2 second-team All-Pros. Since 2020, he's been the second or third best quarterback. It's really been Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar. It's really been Lamar and Josh in some order of 2 and 3 the last 3 years. And now Joe Burrow is like knocking on the door. So they're clearly above everyone else. They're both B-tier guys, and they're on their way to A.
I find it crazy that there's so many like Lamar and Josh Allen haters out there, especially Lamar. I seen this video. I seen this like video on, I think it was like House of Highlights, how they're doing like those debate shows where it's like 1 fan against like 12, and it was like 12 Lamar haters against 1 Lamar lover. And like the arguments that these guys were bringing up, it's all about winning. It's all about like he brought this playoff team and he got destroyed. It's like everyone loves to just have like short-term memory where it's like, I guess like Dan Marino never had like a bad playoff win. I guess like all these quarterbacks have to be perfect like Mahomes. Like everything is compared to Tom Brady and Mahomes. And it's like, if you're going to do that, man, then yeah, none of these guys can carry those guys' jock straps when it comes down to winning. That's just the facts of it if you're going to play that card. But me and Max, this is why we love talking about football, because we feel like very few people take in consideration the context of things and looking at it from a different perspective and not just making it all about Super Bowls and winning. Because if you're making it about that, in all honesty, I lose a little respect for you, and it's a boring conversation. It really is, because it just makes it easy. It's like, all right, well, I guess we're not having a conversation because that's where it ends. Like
pretty much.
And hopefully Josh and Lamar can get that winning done. If you guys watch our podcast on a consistent basis during the the NFL season, you know how me and Max feel about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, as far as like how people are criticizing these guys because they can't win the big one.
And I will add one thing. Before the draft that they were in, Juan was not a big fan of either guy, and I was kind of beating on the table. This is way before we had a show, and Juan didn't stay a hater. You know, he was like, "Damn, Josh Allen he's improved to the point where it's undeniable how good he is." So if you want to be a hater just to hate, go for it. Live your life like that. That ain't me. Except with the Niners, of course. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know I'm a hater. I know. But we got one thing left to do. Let's reorder this list, or I think we're in a good spot. To be honest, I don't think there's going to be much.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much changes. The S tier, I
All
think
right.
is going to stay the same. I think it's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes. And the only
Yep.
reason why we're putting Mahomes third is because his career is not over. So with all due respect, let's just put him at 3. And I'm cool with that. S tier is not going to be touched. A tier, we got Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Montana, John Elway, Brett Favre, Drew Brees.
Yeah, like it. No, nothing to touch.
I like it too. I think we're going to keep it like that. Now, B tier, we got Big Ben, Steve Young, Matthew Stafford, Warren Moon, Troy Aikman, Jim Kelly, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. So at the top of the list, I'm pretty comfortable with Big Ben.
I'm cool. Yeah.
Steve Young, number 2.
Yeah, cool.
I'm going to make this decision right now. I'm putting Lamar and Josh Allen above all these other guys with Matthew Stafford, Warren Moon.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the sake of, I guess I'll put Lamar ahead of Josh Allen just because he has better accolades as of right now. But that may change.
Care.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so Stafford after them, Warren Moon, Troy Aikman, Jim Kelly.
Okay.
C tier, we got Eli, Kurt Warner, Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham, Cam Newton, Russ, and Joe Burrow. I'm going to make Kurt Warner 1.
I would agree.
Eli Manning 2. I'm going to put Michael Vick.
Put Cam above Michael.
That's hard. It's very hard.
I would put Randall, Michael, Cam.
Randall, Michael, Cam, Russ, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I would say Russ is better than Cam. Russ is better than Cam.
I think Russ is better than Vic.
Better than Michael. Yeah.
And Randall.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. It's hard. Got to take out some of the recency stuff that's like poisoned us against Russ.
And I would put Michael Vick under Cam.
Yeah, that's fine. Michael didn't have the magical year.
Yeah. And then Joe Burrow last. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
D tier. We got Phillip Rivers 1.
Yep.
2.
Who's in it really quick? I don't know.
Matt Ryan, Steve McNair, Carson Palmer, Tony Romo, McNabb.
Carson's the worst. McNabb above him.
I would put McNair over Matt Ryan.
Really?
Yes. They both have an MVP year.
I put Romo after Ryan then, and McNair.
Romo's
third.
Romo's third?
Third from the bottom. Third from the bottom.
Okay, so right now I got Phillip, McNair, Matt Ryan, Tony Romo, McNabb, Carson Palmer.
Done.
We're done. That's it. That was quick. We kind of did a better job with that one as far as labeling them while we're tearing them up.
Like it was the most clear cut though too.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
Yeah. But I like it. I'm satisfied with it. It's cool to put those present guys in there. I know that one's probably going to get some raise some eyebrows because their career's not done, but somewhat of it is a projection. And I feel like every tier has something in common as far as what those guys brought to the table. But there you guys have it. That's your tier list for all-time quarterbacks. I know there's a lot of guys that maybe we forgot about, or maybe you're mad that we didn't have on the list. But hey, comment it down below, all right? Give us your thoughts, your opinions. Tell her, are we off for a rocker? Tell us if you agree. Tell us where you guys will rank these quarterbacks. And as always, make sure to hit the like on this video. Helps out tremendously. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed already. And as always, if you guys have gotten to the end of this podcast, you obviously love content like this and you like throwback football. Go ahead and give our other videos a shot and go watch those, man. We just made an Emmitt Smith video about the most unbreakable record in NFL history. And it's not what you think. It's not the Russian record you would think.
Absolutely.
Max, any last words?
Let's go. We're out in under 2 hours.
Let's get it. We out. Peace.
Everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy streams.